professional automotive painting and bodywork for our local community. From a small dent to major collision repair, Hamilton Paint and Body is here for you. Owners Brett and Kim Guin would like to say thank you for your business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Wayne Cobb Jr. here at Hamilton Vision and Eye Care, and this is Dr. Grant Fowler. And we've been in business here in Hamilton since 1995, and it's been a while. So but we appreciate everyone that's come to see us, and if you have any eye care needs, please feel free to give us a call. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I'd like to welcome you to Brittany's Flowers and Gifts. We appreciate all the business. We'd like to encourage you to come by and get a fresh bouquet, a gift. And once again, we thank you for all your business here at Brittany's Florist, 921-0774.
Taco Loco is a Mexican restaurant with a Tex-Mex twist, formerly Fajita Grill, now under new ownership. Come join us for great food in a great atmosphere. We also deliver in a 5-mile radius. Call us today at 205-921-6700.
Northwest Alabama Heating and Cooling, blowing away our competition.
Hello, I'm Richard Kitchens, owner of Sports Gallery here on the Court Square in Hamilton. I'd like to thank all of our customers and thank you for watching the Hamilton City Council meeting.
Hi, my name is Randy Whitehead, President and CEO of People's Trust Bank. I invite you to view the live streaming of Hamilton City Council meetings every first and third Monday at 6 o'clock p.m.
We may have some other folks coming in just a minute. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Before we have our meeting, I'll just make a couple of mentions about some matters of interest. Before we have our next council meeting, we'll have another federal holiday, which is Independence Day, and we'll be closed on that Monday the 4th. You who have a Monday garbage pickup, we'll double you up on the 5th and get your garbage that's normally picked up on that Monday. Tonight our city mourns the passing of one of our former council ladies, Ms. Frances Knight. We extend our prayers and condolence, of course, to the Knight family who means so much to this community. I believe you worked with her on council, is that correct? She was good at what
she was. Before we adjourn, I'll say a few words.
Okay.
Give tribute. Frances, she was a special friend.
Yeah. We're still making some decision about our traffic light removal. We had intended to have the state with us tonight to give us a little more briefing on that. And we're going to revote the matter, actually. So they could not come tonight, but we checked with them to see if they could be with us. They couldn't come tonight, but they're going to come at a near date to talk with us some more, and then we'll make the final decision about our traffic light removal there at the Operations Center and Jones Jewelry Store. There, between those places, we'll decide on that. With that said, let's stand and have our invocation, then we'll get into our meeting. We'll have our pledge. Our Heavenly Father, we pause just to thank you for this day of life. Lord, we thank you for all blessings that flow our way, and thank you so much for blessing our community. And Lord, we ask that the people who have lost loved ones in our community in recent days will be comforted by your hand, and we pray for those people at this point, especially tonight, not family. Lord, we'd ask you to be in this meeting with us and help us to do your will. Let us follow your paths as we go forward in life. Help our national leaders, help our military to be strong, and lead us out of these situations that brew, and may we all look to you for guidance. First item of business tonight would be to approve the minutes of our June 6th, 2022 meeting. Do we have a motion for that? Got a motion from Matt to approve our minutes. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Austin, second. All in favor of that, please raise your right hand. Thank you. The second recommendation would be a change of date for our 4th of July meeting to go to Tuesday night, July the 5th, to have that meeting. Did we get a motion on that?
I'll make it.
Wade made the motion, need a second. Matt second. All in favor of changing that date? Thank you. The next is a recommendation, and I'll let you decide whether you want to put it into action or not. This is to be a recommendation to require 100% participation from the city employees who are on the city's health insurance to participate in the annual wellness screening. Participation in wellness screening allows the city of Hamilton to maintain its premium rating and keep the cost of the health insurance to a minimum. Those employees who will not participate in the wellness screening will be required to pay $75 a month toward their premiums for at least 1 year until they can participate in the next annual wellness screening. This is being done in an effort to offset the cost incurred from non-participation. And what we're saying here is that some of our folks don't have the family coverage, just a single coverage. They don't seem to find it necessary to go down and help us with the screening. But by everybody participating, we've got to have at least 80%, but which 80% goes and which 20% don't get to go. I mean, so in my opinion, and it's the opinion of our ladies in the office, that everybody ought to participate or have a reason why. And it just helps us so much with our cost. And the reward would be, you know, you get your insurance paid for and a part of your families. If you don't participate and help us keep the cost down, then we let you pay for it. That's the point.
I agree with you, Mayor. It's extremely expensive to offer these benefits. You know, if you're self-employed like me, guess how much health insurance you get? Even at all. So to be able to come in and work as a single or a family, you know, I think we're paying half the family and all the single coverage, which in a year's time is thousands of dollars of benefits. I know somebody not want to pay that $75 per month. That's $750 a year, $800. But I think it should be required. They might save somebody's life by participating in this. Because sometimes you find things in the wellness, blood work or something that maybe you've got high blood pressure or maybe some kind of illness that you're not aware of. This thing can save your life. Participate in this. It's just my opinion, but other council members will say.
I know Amy pleads with these folks to go have their screenings done and even get someone to come here to do the screenings if they don't want to go to Coles or some other place down to the hospital. They can do them in different places, but we would bring somebody here that will do it for us. And it's a real convenience. And
Well, I know where my wife Vicki works for education for almost 40 years, 38 years. Once a year they come and they do blood work, blood pressure, those screenings. And so it's very convenient for the employee. You don't have to drive off somewhere 30 minutes to do it when they're offered to come here. So
for us to get credit, we need at least 80% participation, but like state, that same 20% don't ever go. I think they're letting us down by not participating. You know, rewards aren't we pay at all. If they don't want to go to the screening, they pick up part of the tab for us.
All the times we live in right now, healthcare is already expensive. It's not going to go down if anything's going to continue.
they're never the cheap.
We're not just trying to throw a penalty at someone, but we have these same folks every year that they find an excuse not to go and participate. And if it's a mandatory thing, then we do it. the first round, she got about 70% participation. Well, there's another 10% requirement, and then the other 20% apparently don't intend to do it. So we fell short on our first effort this year to get to the 80% required. And this is a recommendation coming from your office that runs the city on a day-to-day. And not necessarily the mayor's recommendation, it's a consensus that we all participate. So, with all that said, do we want to bring it to a vote, or we want to just think about it? Got a motion, a second. All those in favor of having 100% participation, raise your hand. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And I think it's, as Wade says, there might be something discovered in this that will help save someone's life. Who knows? We just found out that a young man from this community is in stage 4 cancer. It could happen to anyone. We think the screening is very important.
And on behalf of the employees, it's not really, not trying to punish employees. It's just trying to help that employee and their family. $75 a month's a lot, and that adds up in a year's time. That screening only takes a few minutes. It's not too intrusive. It's nothing more than sticking your finger, get your blood work, blood pressure, and cuff. It's pretty simple, actually. It's not a real physical exam.
It's easy.
It's pretty simple.
It's easy.
Is that right, Ross? You might know more about it with pharmacy.
About 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Without further discussion, then, we have a special presentation from our good friend, Casey Kidd, who's from Napa Retail. And Casey, at this time, we're going to turn this over to you for your presentation, and you take as many minutes as you need, and we're going to listen, and we may have a few questions.
Hopefully not too long. I told y'all I'd come back after we got back from Vegas and kind of deliver the message of what all happened there. And I was talking a little bit earlier with the group about how it was lesser attendance than it normally is, but ended up being more productive than it ever has been. And I promise you, I'm not making it. I've been out there 10 years, and it's just a totally different environment now. What I learned, so there's usually 35 to 40,000 people there. This year there was 23,000. So like I said, about half. But the 23,000 that were there were looking to do deals. The word that I keep using when I present to our clients is intentional. Everybody out there was very intentional about their being there and having a meeting set up, and that was just kind of, I don't know, made for a much more productive show. I think the reasoning for that is what we learned. There was a few groups that were not out there that we wish had been there. And when we were talking to them, some of them just, their corporate, ladder's not letting them spend money on things like that right now. And so that means the ones that were out there, the ones that they did get approval from the CEO to spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars to go out there, they were out there, they were held accountable, I guess is the best way to say it. When they got back to the office, the boss man was saying, all right, well, what did you do while you were out there? And the answer could not be just part of it. It had to be like, all right, well, we did this deal, this deal, this deal. We were out there, even we're a small fish, but I watched 4 to 5 deals get inked while we were out there in front of me. And so that just goes to show, like, we had half the crowd, but I think more deals got done out there than it would have been if, there was 40,000 people, which was really good because that means that we made some pretty progressive talks on behalf of Hamilton while we're out there. I won't share specific names, but anywhere between home improvement stores, warehouse stores, grocery stores, QSRs, which means quick service restaurants with the drive-through fast food. Limited service, like fast casual, and those could be like sandwich shops, things like that, where you go in there. It's not exactly it's not a white tablecloth restaurant, but they don't have a drive-through. It's a good place to get, something a little bit nicer than a Subway sandwich. some soft goods stores, which are like clothing stores, a lot of one-off like fashion retailers. And so those were predominantly some of the ones that we met with, and I'd say pretty much for the most part, everyone that we met with was very interested in Hamilton. Out of that, I would say our meeting with the hotel developer that we had was probably the most promising. So at this point and this stage of the process, their words to me is that they're currently running their numbers, and if all looks favorable, they would like to move forward. Again, I'm not going to mention their name specifically tonight, but it does look pretty promising that they would be interested in doing an extended stay hotel here. And so we're just going to continue to follow up on that. They are a nationwide developer, and so they have a presence all throughout the U.S. It would be very likely that they could also help bring in other businesses aside from just a hotel. And so I should hear back from them, I'd say, within the next couple of weeks. They have the hotel feasibility study. They're going through that. I was talking to Scott earlier. One of the things that they'll have to do is they'll have to submit all of this back to the actual hotel brand, and that's called what we call a flag. And so what happens there is basically like a franchise. You could go and franchise the Zaxby's or a McDonald's or whatever. The corporations still have to approve that. And so what they would be doing at this stage is running the numbers past the actual hotel franchise to make sure that's all kosher to them. And then if it is, then they will award them this franchise, or in the case of a hotel, a flag, and then they would move forward with securing the land, and the next step after that would be ultimately construction. And so that's just kind of where we are. Again, things like that can take anywhere from 2 days to 2 years. But I would say in this case, knowing this developer and having worked with this developer, they usually act pretty fast. And so we'll continue to follow up with them. Aside from that, a lot of the restaurants that we had conversations with, they're looking to act pretty fast as well. And so what I'm hoping we can do, and we need to follow back up with the property owner that's nearest the site that we used in the hotel feasibility study to see if there is additional land that could be had for a reasonable price.
How much property? Casey?
Well, the hotel alone will take anywhere between 2 and 3 acres, and then aside from that, if we're looking to get another restaurant, at least another acre, or for 2 restaurants, 2 acres, you could budget basically an acre per restaurant. I think is a good metric. Some a little bit more, some a little bit less. But as long as the price is right, that's really kind of what guides them. We've worked a lot with Zaxby's, and I've seen them go into some half-acre sites. But it's because the market was really good, they got the land at a cheap price, and they knew that they could sell a lot of chicken to the drive-thru. I will say the trend that we're seeing right now, and I think Scott even mentioned this to me outside of this meeting tonight, a lot of these retailers are they're downsizing, not downsizing expansion, but downsizing the footprint. And so what that means, we did a Kohl's deal, not for Hamilton, but while we were in Vegas, we did a Kohl's deal out there, and the one that y'all have probably been to in Tupelo, it's about, I think, 85,000 square feet, somewhere around there. It's a big store. The one that we did out in Vegas was, I think, about half that. And so it just goes to show a lot of these, and what's good about that is that it opens them up to more rural markets. And so that means that they would have been looking at Tupelo before, but now they're looking at Hamilton, in the case, our client Texas. They're a little bit bigger, they're closer, to 10,000 population, but at the same time, still a small community. And so that may mean that there's some opportunities for y'all now that didn't exist 2 and 3 years ago. Because that was sort of the trend that we saw, especially with the fast food restaurants. And that's what I was going to say. This is just the world we're living in now, but the mantra that they're all going by now is you order on your phone and you go there and you pick it up. And so the days of waiting in the drive-thru or near they're in, because I know, which I don't do it, I'm kind of old school, I think you should still be able to order at the restaurant, but my girlfriend, she loves to order on the app. She gets the points for ordering on the app, and we show up there, and they've got the food waiting for us. So I guess it is more convenient if you use the app, you know how to use it. But that's kind of the model they're all going to. And so what we can expect from that is that a half acre may do it for them, Or if the business is big enough here, or the market's big enough, that would mean that they might still take an acre of land, but they might build a building that's like a fourth the size of what they would normally do. And I can assure you, right now it's a lot cheaper to pave asphalt than it is to build that building. And so, in most markets at least, and so that means that they're all trying to figure out how to reduce their costs and further expand. But the good part is they're all expanding. And the ones that we met with out there, and the list that we have here on my phone, they're all looking to expand. A good example, a really good meeting that we had while out there was with Sam's Club. Well, back, I think it was 2013, Sam's Club closed, I think they call them clubs, they don't call them stores, they call them clubs. But they closed about 60 of their clubs, sold them all. And so that was kind of like the writing on the wall for the Walmart Corporation, because then they were closing the majority of their stores for Sam's Club. But we got news while we were out there that they're looking to build about 50 to 75 stores over the next few years. And so that's good news. It means that they're looking to expand once again. It'll be even better news for cities that don't have stores, because they're untested markets, which can sometimes look a little bit like, weird for, I guess they would proceed with caution if you didn't have a club previously, because they know how those cities did. But if you didn't have one, then they really don't know what those markets look like. And so we expect them to roll out a pretty healthy lineup of stores across the U.S. over the next 4 to 5 years. That was the news that I got from them when we were meeting in Vegas. And I wouldn't necessarily exclude Hamilton from that. I think that because of the changes that we've seen with COVID and the work from home, there's a lot of rural communities that are getting eyed a little bit closer than they would have prior to that. Just because now all the people are here, they're not leaving, to go work. They're working on their laptop, or even if they are, I know a lot of my friends and colleagues, they might go into the office once or twice a week, but then the other 3 days they're sitting on the couch, on their laptop. And I think that's going to continue to be the trend over time. It's just, it's a lot cheaper. I can speak as a business owner. It's a lot cheaper for me when I work from home, just because I pay for less office space and electricity and heating and cooling and all that. So I would expect that, y'all are in a very good position. You stand out a lot better now than you probably did 3 or 4 years ago. And we made sure to put you in front of as many people as we possibly could in Vegas. Our meetings in Vegas were well into the hundreds. And so when we came back, my stack of business cards I had was about like that. And so, obviously, all of our information for our cities is out there with us, and we're putting it in front of as many people as we can possibly put it in front of. And so from that, the ones that were really receptive to it will continue to follow up, especially on the hotel front. I'd say at this point, that's probably the strongest lead that we have. And so we'll continue to follow up with them. My goal would be to get a site visit from them pretty soon. And so once they hear back from the franchise, or the flag in this case, we'll try to get them out here. Their hotel guy that works for this development company, I actually met outside of work. We were just traveling, happened to be the same place, same time. We actually become pretty good friends. And so he'll be very easy to get out here for a site visit. And so as long as all of this rolls along the way it should, I think y'all will be very pleased with the results. It was a good trip.
Can't you just see Casey, you got you and all these people, but don't leave, I'm going to talk to you.
We did pretty good. It actually worked out better for us because, in our best years, we've taken maybe 10 people out there, which is still a lot of people. It's a lot of hotel rooms, a lot of food, a lot of mouths to feed, but at the same time, being the more limited crowd that it was this year, actually, I think allowed us to touch more people. We got a lot of walk-up meetings. Of course, we always have meetings scheduled when we go out there, but there's always transient people just walking through and passing by that come up to the booth. One of the meetings we had was with Kroger, and that was not one of our, at least the rep that walked by, he was not on our list or scheduled meetings, and he wanted to know what we had to offer. And so that's where it really worked out well, some of those walk-up meetings that we got, because I don't think we would have touched them otherwise. a lot of them, they book their meetings in advance just the way that we do. And so once they fill their schedule up, you kind of miss your opportunity. We start at least a month and a half out scheduling meetings for Vegas. And so in the middle of April, or at the beginning of April, early March, or late March, we were scheduling meetings. But that doesn't mean that we're guaranteed a meeting with all the people that we reach out to. And so some of those we were able to grab, we'll see their badge or their name tag and say, hey, what are you going to do? Sit down, have a water. So we had some of those at the booth. And so it was just a really good environment to grab some of these people that we wouldn't have normally seen. I would have never guessed in a million years that we would have had. We had a meeting with every rep for Sam's Club. So every real estate manager for the U.S. we had a meeting with at this show. And that means that there's a lot of other companies that weren't afforded that opportunity. And we were lucky enough to be one of the companies that did meet with them. And so that just, it was a very productive show. I think there's a lot of things that are not even, coming to fruition right now that might come into fruition, in a few months. And so who only knows, where some of those, seeds that we planted will go over the next few months. So just keep that in mind as we move forward, because I got people that called me about something from 5 years ago, and that's not uncommon. Unfortunately, sometimes the cities are not applying anymore, but at the same time, you plant that seed, you never know when it's going to grow. And so our job is just to be out there and plant it as many times as possible, and hope that,
Are you looking any further shows this year?
We usually, so in normal times, we have about 20 a year. I think this year we've got about 16. And so we're just shy of where we normally are pre-COVID. And so our next one will be in Boston, and the one after that will be in Austin, Texas. And some of these companies are national, and so that means that whether you're in Boston or LA or Las Vegas, it's got to get to the top anyway. So it's just as many ways as we possibly can get it to the top. That's our MO, is to get it to the top. Keep in mind, a lot of the times the people that we're meeting with are not the decision makers. They help to make the decision, but they're not. All these companies have a board just like y'all have right here. And so when these people that we're meeting with, the site selectors, when they make a decision on whether or not to move forward on the site, they still have to go to the real estate committee. And that's a group that looks just like y'all. They're sitting around a table, 5 of them, usually 3 to 5, and they have to vote on whether or not they think that they should spend the company's capital. Just the same way y'all would as a city, whether or not to spend money as a city, they have to decide whether or not, if you're AutoZone, whether or not to spend AutoZone's money. And a lot of them are publicly traded, so a lot of that they don't want to get wrong, And so just keep that in mind, because we've got to put in a sales pitch that person that we're meeting with can also go back and sell to the board just like y'all. And so we try to overdo it. If at all possible. That way that they've got as much ammunition as they need to go back to their board and say, hey, Hamilton sounds like the bee's knees. I think we need to be there. And so hopefully we do that in Vegas. We'll continue to do that at our other trade shows throughout the year, but that is our biggest fixture. Another really good one that will be coming up in the winter is in December, so the New York show. The New York show is not quite the size of Vegas, but it's usually pretty comparable. And so if it mimics kind of what we saw in Vegas about people being intentional and looking to do deals, we can expect to have the same reception there as well. A lot of your higher ups go to that show. And so we'll have some other smaller shows sprinkled in between now and then, but I'd say the next Vegas type show will be in New York in December.
Do you have questions? Good. You do stay available for our text messages and whatever?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's usually the best way to reach me, because I travel. 3 days ago I was in Rome, Italy. And so I got back from Rome, hopped on a plane yesterday, flew here. And so I would say the best way to reach me is via text. I'm usually pretty good with email, but text is still better. I might respond at 10 o'clock at night. But.
Well, I wanted to say I thank you for accepting our messages.
Absolutely.
And responding, because I get a lot of feedback from the guys because you responded when they reached out to you. I want to say thanks for that.
Absolutely, and the way that we look at that, I think what really sets us apart is that part to me is free. It doesn't cost me anything but 2 minutes of my time, And so, like I said, it might be 11 o'clock at night when I respond, but I will respond. Everything you see that you send me is seen, and that's just the way that we operate. Everybody at our company is the same way. If you ever had to reach out to them, they would respond the same way that I do. And that's something we can do as a courtesy to y'all. It doesn't cost us another, dime to be able to do that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
I appreciate it very much. And we'll, of course, keep in touch.
Absolutely. Well, if y'all need anything, call me, text me, snail mail, smoke signals. We'll see y'all.
Blake maybe had a couple of comments.
Yeah, just when I heard this morning that Miss Francis had passed away, it's kind of heartbroken. In 1992 was the first time that I'd been elected, along with Francis Knight, Joel Peoples, Gary Mixon, and Tim Hall. We were 5 new greenhorns that had never been elected. It was with a veteran mayor. Mayor E.T. Sims was in his last term. So it was our first term and his last term. This was many years ago. But over the years, we got to be extremely close friends. And I'm going to miss Francis. She was a true servant of our town. She loved our city. She loved our employees. She always stood up for Hamilton. Always wanted to do what she thought was right. Had a very opinionated, and you didn't have to worry about her opinion. She was willing to tell you. And I like that about Francis. She was a true friend. And several years later, she served again, filled out a term for Miss Anna Cheryl when Mayor Holliday passed away. Mayor Cheryl became the mayor, and Francis finished that term out. So she served about 2 extra years there. Then after that, I was elected mayor to serve 4 years, and along with Francis, Tim Holcomb, Lynn Mitchell, and Greg Ingram, we had a really good group. Francis was my mayor pro tem. I counted on her a lot, and she filled in for me from time to time. And you just couldn't have a better friend than Francis Knight. I just wanted to say a few things just in honor of her, in memory of her. But she will be missed, Mayor. She's a good person. We got to work over the years with several different clerks. We've had some good clerks. Started out with Barbara Bartain, and then after she passed away with Sue Page, worked there several years and several terms. Very sweet, very sweet. And then Jan Williams, and then Angela Owens. The city's been blessed with good people, good commission, good councilmen, just good people. And it's a pleasure to serve with these men here. I've had the pleasure to serve with a lot of people. The Lord's been good to me. But just on behalf of Francis, council members that served with her, we're going to miss her. I love her very much. She was just a special, special friend. I just want to say thank you for letting me just give a small tribute to Francis. She was she's special and she'll be missed, but she's not suffering. I knew her heart, and she's in a much better place. So thank you for that.
We appreciate that, Wade. I know the community mourns with us tonight, and we appreciate all of the supporters we've had through the years, all the people who've served in times past. Some of them have gone on, some of them are very much with us today, and they still come by and show support, and I very much appreciate all the people who are in support of our community and our town here in Hamilton. I think people are shopping in Hamilton. Our revenue right now is doing really okay, and that's because of people who are willing to come and shop at our stores in Hamilton. And it's important to the community to have that support. And I know I'm speaking for everyone that sits in these seats beside me, that we all appreciate our community for supporting and holding us up. And every endeavor we do is for you and the betterment of our community, so that you know all of us have the same heart. Our heart beats for Hamilton, and we want good things for our people, and we want more people to come and join us. We're looking to get some more homes built so people can come here. We've got a shortage of housing right now. That's one of our biggest holdups on people moving here. They don't have a house to move into, so we're doing our best to get some contractors back interested in really recruiting maybe some contractors to come and look at building homes here in Hamilton, Alabama. So thank you very much tonight. If no other business, we'll need a motion to adjourn. Got a motion from that. Second, please.
Scott.
Second, Scott. Those in favor of adjournment? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Professional automotive painting and bodywork for our local community. From a small dent to major collision repair, Hamilton Paint and Body is here for you. Owners Brett and Kim Guin would like to say thank you for your business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Wayne Cobb Jr. here at Hamilton Vision and Eye Care, and this is Dr. Grant Fowler. And we've been in business here in Hamilton since 1995, and it's been a while. So but we appreciate everyone that's come to see us, and if you have any eye care needs, please feel free to give us a call. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I'd like to welcome you to Brittany's Flowers and Gifts. We appreciate all the business. We'd like to encourage you to come by and get a fresh bouquet, a gift. And once again, we thank you for all your business here at Brittany's Florist, 921-0774.
Taco Loco is a Mexican restaurant with a Tex-Mex twist. Formerly Fajita Grill, now under new ownership. Come join us for great food in a great atmosphere. We also deliver in a 5-mile radius. Call us today at 205-921-6700.
Northwest Alabama Heating and Cooling, blowing away our competition.
Hello, I'm Richard Kitchens, owner of Sports Gallery here on the Court Square in Hamilton. I'd like to thank all of our customers and thank you for watching the Hamilton City Council meeting.
Hi, my name is Randy Whitehead, President and CEO of People's Trust Bank. I invite you to view the live streaming of Hamilton City Council meetings every first and third Monday at 6 o'clock p.m.